Hi guys, we are live with Power Up Gamers. As always, I'm Driven D&D, and today I have a guest with me, Scratticus,
Oh, hi.
is who some of you might know from Twitch and streaming. And so, couple quick announcements. It's right now, Legate's Tomb of Amazing Creatures Volume 3 is available on ttrpg as a PDF. Physical copies will be very soon. The proof copies on its way to us as we speak. So if you haven't picked it up, Halloween's coming up, spooky one-shots. You'll love the monsters in there. We got stuff like psionic necromancers, an undead troll, or a trumpeter, which is half Venus flytrap, half centaur. So lots of cool spooky stuff, perfect for Halloween. So take a look at that. You'll see some other stuff we've done in the past. You're welcome to check those out too. Also, starting at 5 p.m. Eastern tonight on the Threaders Twitch channel, we are doing an extra activity stream. And we'll have opening ceremonies. Then there's a game I'm playing in. Then I'm running a fiasco. And then I'll be there again on Sunday playing in another D&D game. So it's set to run all week again. So come check us out. And you'll love the Red Raiders crap out. For those of you who haven't gotten to know them yet, I've really been enjoying hanging out with them. So, Scratticus, why don't you introduce yourself to the viewers and kind of tell them a bit about what you do?
Yeah, sure thing. Hi everyone. I'm Scratticus. I run the Scratticus Academy. We are an inclusive, safe space for new tabletop role players. The home of new tabletop role players is the catchphrase I'm trying to coin. We provide opportunities for all people who want to play D&D to come and play D&D through live streams on our Twitch channel over on twitch.tv/Scratticus. We don't just do that. We also do other stuff. Sometimes you might see me playing video games, although I wouldn't go as far as to say I'm a variety streamer. And on the 9th, we are doing a 24-hour Extra Life charity stream, which is affiliated with the Wizards D&D channel. Big on tabletop, big on inclusion, big on safety. That's me summarized.
Awesome. That's gonna be awesome stream, especially having Wizards of the Coast come in and be part of it. That's a pretty big deal for us streamers. So
yes, indeed. I haven't released the official cast yet, but there's some pretty exciting names in there. So some people you may just recognize.
Awesome. So guys, be sure to drop it in and watch a couple games and be part of that stream as well. So usually when I begin in the chat, I tend to ask questions like how you got involved with tabletop gaming, streaming, doing what we do. Because everyone has kind of a unique story. For me, it was my grandfather would tell us stories, so I learned role-playing first. Because he would always stop and ask what the character should do or what we would do in that situation. And then 5 years down the road, buddy of mine played D&D and got me sold, and I was like, oh, there's a game for my grandfather's stories? Okay, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Been there ever since. So how did you get involved in
It's kind of the
gaming.
opposite for me, you know. I didn't start with the roleplay side of things. In fact, I started playing these sorts of games with I don't know if you coined the same phrase over there, an Ameritrash game, Hero Quest.
Yes,
Fantastic.
I remember Hero Quest quite
Yeah.
fondly.
So that's I used to play that with my brothers and sisters. My brother, who was significantly older, taught me how to play, and we used to play with me and my little sister. We're very similar age, so we used to play. We used to play that together, but it was always very mechanics sort of based. And it wasn't until much later that I figured out the role play side of things. I didn't actually
Yeah,
get into D&D until fifth edition came out. Um, I mean, I think I played like a 3.5 or a 2
yeah,
starter kit at some point, but not enough to say, hey, I played that version.
yeah.
I really got stuck with it.
I grew up playing second edition and then
Oh, yeah,
kind
yeah.
of skipped over everything else until 5e and happy with 5e.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great system. And before I started streaming, I was setting up a D&D campaign in the factory I worked in. I'm trained as an engineer. I was an engineer for a long time. And every Monday we'd have a group of engineers come around the house and we'd play a bit of 5e. And again, it was very mechanicsy because if you give 5 engineers a problem, they don't worry about acting; they just worry about solving it. You know, so it was very mechanical then, um, as well. Uh, I got involved with streaming first of all with Encounter Roleplay way back in the day. We're talking 2 or 3 years ago now. Um, and they used to have a viewer game. I applied to get on their viewer
Okay.
game, and that's all they wrote. You know,
Yeah.
that was the start. And once we started, away we
Yeah.
went.
You just don't stop.
Yeah,
Even
you know.
even after almost 2 years of me not really doing much with YouTube and streaming because we've gone with indie publishing and putting out content that way. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
still I still do some of the online conventions and realize how much I miss it. So
yeah, yeah. You
we're
can't stop
kind
doing
of
it. You know?
we're kind of getting back involved in it.
Yeah, yeah. No, they used to do the viewer game every week. They did all sorts of shows, and I actually gathered some people that I'd been playing MMOs. You know, I was one of the MMO guildies back when that was a big thing, and
Oh yes.
yeah, I gathered a group of my MMO buddies. You know, I think some of them are Swedish, some are British. I think that's mostly it, just Swedish and British. And we grouped up and we started just streaming a campaign. I believe it's still on YouTube somewhere. The Dead Mountain, the first campaign we ever
Okay.
streamed way back in the day, way back. You know, like
Yeah.
before we even hit affiliate, we were streaming some
Nice.
tabletop stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
So
And I've heard there's been a lot of changes because back in the day when I used Twitch to stream to YouTube, you could only do like 15-minute segments and upload 15 minutes at a time. Then you had to use YouTube editor to splice them
oh yeah,
together.
no. It's much easier than that now. Just
So,
export, off it goes.
uh, so I got away from the Twitch because as we had Google Hangouts when YouTube went to YouTube Live, and now I'm using StreamYards because Hangouts
Yeah, yeah.
basically has gone its death toll. Oh,
Yeah, it's yeah, I mean I mean I stick with Twitch. They you know,
yeah,
they've been good to me. They've not been bad to me, you know. It's always exciting to have Twitch people come and say hi and chat and stuff.
yeah, yeah. I've heard a lot of good things about Twitch lately. And that seems like half of the gaming community has kind of gone to Twitch. Half of them still use YouTube.
Yeah, Mixer, the other one, up and coming at the minute. A lot of people moving from Twitch to Mixer, but yeah, I'm not making any decisions like that at the minute.
Yeah.
I'm happy where I am, you know.
Awesome. My friend Mitch's, he, just to let you know, Scratticus, I met Rich on Atlantic Online, an MMO that I play, and we've been talking last couple days about helping him maybe get going with streaming. Probably in the video game field, because that's kind of what he's used to.
Hey, that's how I started too, you know. That's how I started. I started off streaming video games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's actually a really good way to go, especially if you love video games. And with me, when I started, I knew, because I was already involved in equal rights for disabled people. And I was also a writer, and I knew I liked tabletop games, so my thing kind of fell together into the tabletop side of things. But we're talking slowly with him, and that's what the beeping was he had messaged, because we were going to talk before this stream, and that didn't quite happen, so.
Yeah, way of the world, you know.
But welcome to the stream, in which this is kind of what we do. We sit, we talk, have a good time, get to know people. Sometimes we'll be playing games, sometimes we won't be. Today we won't be.
Yeah.
Hey, so.
Yeah, it's hey Rich.
So I'm pretty excited to get new people into doing it too. And even like my mom, my mom's a Christian author, and is learning some of the same stuff we all learned with marketing and how to record videos for promotion. So I've been helping her where I could, of course. So one of the things that got me into accessibility and equal rights on the disabled side of things was when I was living with my biological dad, who has multiple sclerosis and is in a wheelchair, paralyzed.
Okay.
I was full-time college, full-time job. So not a lot of free time. And I needed something from the local game store. So I sent him down to pick it up. He couldn't even get in the door already. So he had to sit outside the shop until a clerk noticed him, asked him what he wanted, got what he needed.
And an accessibility thing that he couldn't get in?
Yeah. It was a normal glass door, and they didn't have a back room for the gaming tables. So right when you go in, they have 4 tables.
Right, yeah.
And he's in one of the big mobilized scooters. And because of this one table, they had a shelf against the wall. Which made the table stick out a little bit further. And then the seats, of course. So there wasn't enough room for him to get in. Where they could have cut the shelf in half, moved the table over like 3 inches, and put 2 seats at another table, and he would have been able to get in and out. So, of course, having what happened, I was upset about it.
Of course. Right?
Like anyone who whose family is disabled. Old. So I went down there, complained to them, and they started giving me bad attitude because by law I had enough passageway. And this was back when there wasn't really any accessibility laws. They
Yeah,
were
yeah.
just starting to form them. Um, um, so I arranged a boycott, and we all went to another gaming shop in town, which was bigger and better anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, uh, but that's kind of what got me started with the equal rights, and ever since I've been like, hey, everyone deserves being at a table or that they're comfortable with it. It's being able to play this hobby. That there's nothing in the hobby that is exclusive at all.
No, no,
Oh,
not at all.
oh, oh. So that's kind of how I got started, and we worked really hard to make our tables open to everyone, regardless of special needs, religion, gender,
Yeah,
religion, all those things that people look at and say, well, you're not one of us, so you can't take part in what we do. We
yeah,
work really hard to stop all that nonsense.
yeah. For me, so I grew up, and my dad used to work in a factory, and worked himself to the bone. You know, real hard worker.
Yeah,
But he worked himself so hard, and the conditions were unsafe enough, um, that he managed to work himself into early retirement and disability. Um, I can't remember. I don't know the exact details, but I know
yeah,
he's got reduced mobility and you know, all of that stuff. And really, I started off going into engineering to try and make things safer for people like my dad. You know,
okay,
uh, to try and like make conditions better, to
yeah,
make things safer, to try and stop people from ending up the same way. And really, when I moved from engineering to tabletop, I've got the same values. It's just, you know, it's just a different playing field. You know,
yeah,
that's where my compassion comes from in a way. So
yeah, yeah. Now it's more we do it by making people aware of the issues, giving them what information we can, and have fun playing games doing it. And
yeah,
a lot of times we'll be doing charity streaming and
yeah,
raising money.
raising money, but also just making things like mental health and safety normal.
Yeah,
You know, because a lot of people tend to. The trap is you think, well, I know everyone in my group, so we probably don't need to do any of that stuff.
yeah,
And it is a trap, you know, because
yeah.
usually people who do suffer and who could use the safety tools suffer in silence. You know, they're very good at it. They've become very
Oh
practiced
yeah,
at hiding it. You know, um, so that's really where we're at. We're just trying to make things normal. You know, it's okay to be depressed and seeking help about it, or not seeking help about it, wherever you are in your journey. You know, it's okay to not be okay.
that's exactly. And that's one thing I really like with the Power Up Gamer community and the people I play with is if I'm upset, need to vent, and start to get depressed, I can talk to any of them.
Hmm.
And that's something we've kind of established just as being friends, not just colleagues. And oh, I belong to this 4,000 person community group.
Yeah, yeah,
We're a small group, like less than 500 people, but almost everyone knows everyone else, and we'll all drop whatever we can. And
yeah.
if someone needs us,
Quality over quantity, you know. It's better to have a strong community than a big community, I'd say.
Exactly. And that's really important because this time's like just this last week, my stepdad almost died twice. He has diabetes and had a low blood sugar attack. And then the other time, his chest was hurting him all day. And being a stubborn man, he won't go to the doctors until he absolutely has to. Oh, and he couldn't even stand up to get in the car for my mom to drive him to the hospital. So they called the ambulance. It's at like 1 a.m.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So this day's like that. And this whole month's been a hectic month for us.
I'm sorry to hear that.
But there's times like that where I need someone to talk to or just sit listen who understands and might give some advice, might not.
Mm-hmm.
And really that's all it's about is that connection that we make. And tabletop games are amazing for that.
Yes.
I can't even begin to say how much it changed me, but back in the day, you wouldn't have wanted to know me.
Yeah.
The reason I learned about how to handle anger was playing a Shaolin Tibetan Buddhist type monk.
No.
And I chose to do that because I knew me going out beating up cars and stuff with the baseball bat was not healthy.
Yeah, but I mean, life is all just like self-improvement, really. You know, it's the different things that we do and identify that lead to new opportunities. I suffered with an anger problem as a teenager myself. I managed to deal with it quite early on, handily. But I can definitely relate. You know, it's
cool. And of course, just like now, I'll play a character. Sometimes I'll put in an issue like dealing with loss of a child. I don't if like we've had a child die in the family, and I watch how people react to the character and how the character reacts to what they say, and that helps me learn not just how to handle it, but kind of really take it in.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas without tabletop gaming, I would have to try to learn that on my own.
Yeah. It's
and they make for good stories.
yes, it's entertaining too. But I mean, you're right as well. They're like tabletop gaming. They do have a massive impact on not just self-learning and self-improvement, but also mental health.
Yeah.
I have some of our writers on our Patreon are very keyed into mental health. One of them just writes mental health. The other one writes about mental health in gaming and how to handle different emotions in different sessions. And it's very interesting reading. Very interesting reading.
Awesome. Yeah, I've done some talking with like RPG research, Hawk Robinson, and a good friend of mine, and they're actually doing studies showing like the therapeutic effects of gaming. And it amazes me. Even though I kind of know because of the effects it's had on me. And being autistic myself, autistic people tend not to have a large social or friend network. I have friends all over the world. And hundreds upon hundreds that I can talk to anytime, whereas without that, the online community being a big part of that, I know maybe a dozen people in real life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I'm similar as well. I work American time, but I live in the UK. So
okay.
usually I'm awake at night, doing night things, and I sleep during the day. So I don't really get.
I'm the same way.
Yeah,
Even
right.
here in the US.
It's just one of those things, you know.
Yeah. Part of it is being a writer at nighttime is quiet. There's not as many people coming to the door calling you, or things like that. So I tend to be up at night and early morning.
I saw an interesting article recently about ADHD, preferring ADHD, people with ADHD preferring to work at night because there's less distractions, and you know, things like that, which makes a lot of sense. You know, I mean, I do it because of time zones. But, you know, it's
But yeah, it's amazing, and like even if no one bothers me during the day, hey, I'm more productive at night when it's just that quiet of the night.
Yeah, I'm usually productive in the first couple of hours after I wake up. Usually between the first and second coffee is when I get most of my stuff done. Like I've got a list, you know, I've got a to-do list, and I do the things on the to-do list. The to-do list keeps me honest and keeps me sane. Otherwise, it all spirals out of control.
Between the first and second coffee?
Yep. No, I usually go for
this
the
entire mug is coffee.
My God. No, I usually go for the Italian style ones. You know, the little espressos, just the little ones.
Oh,
you know?
Okay. Yeah. This holds about 12 cups, so almost a full pot of coffee.
Oof.
But one of those lasts me basically all day. Sometimes I'll drink two, depending on how late I'm gonna be up.
Yeah.
But yes. So tabletop gaming's it's just an excellent thing. I love board games too. You'll get a chance to play them as much outside of the tabletop field. And I love video games. And I was hardcore World of Warcraft for years, like 18 hours a day, every day.
I was a SWOTOR grinder. I know that life.
Yeah, I still play World of Warcraft, Atlantica Online, Star Wars The Old Republic, and some other smaller games. I've been in Forever Moderator, Global Moderator. I've been in reviews because I'm also a freelance writer. So it's all kind of prepare me for power-up gamers. Throughout my life, and even with power-up gamers, we're constantly evolving. Like we started out YouTube, and when I started, it was simply going to be a few of my players had access to the channel. We recorded the videos so I could watch and learn where I made mistakes as a DM, because I learned better by watching.
Yeah.
And then I would do little videos like this where I just sat and basically talked to myself about how my disabilities affected gaming, and etc. And it just took off. Within like a month, we had almost 200 subscribers and who really was interested. And I found kind of that niche because at the time there wasn't anything out there for people with special needs that were involved in gaming.
Yeah. So like, I mean, it interests me as well. I'm trying to be more inclusive all the time. I know one of the things that I'd like to work on is my accessibility for blind and deaf viewers.
Yes.
So I know we use Roll20 on the channel all the time, and Roll20 isn't great with a screen reader.
No.
It's awful, in fact.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues with websites with screen readers.
Yeah.
One thing that is possible, and it is a lot of work, and I was doing this for my channel and a few others, is transcribing for closed captioning, even English to English.
Yeah,
it does take like 3 hours to do a 30-minute video of one person talking.
There is a website that I've been looking at using. It's been pioneered by a streamer called Torn Pixie.
Okay.
She's been
I know Torn Pixie.
Yeah. I've forgotten the name of the website right now, but it's live transcribing of
okay.
And I haven't got it to work with a group yet to my satisfaction, to a quality that I'm happy with, but it does look very good. Yeah. It does look very good.
And there's more and more tools like that are coming out as we're speaking out and making people aware of the need. For a long time, people didn't realize that people watch YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Still, when you're going through official places and you say, "Oh yeah, I'm an internet streamer," people are like, "Oh, so you don't have a job?" You know, it's like,
oh yeah,
you know,
oh yeah. My dad even now doesn't realize how much work goes into what I do, because he thinks I sit play a games or I sit and talk to people. And yeah, that's part of what we do. But I also write supplements, layout design, hire the artist. All that is a lot of work.
Oh yeah, totally.
There's weeks I pour in 40 to 90 hours for no pay. Just to get something out. My pay comes when we make sales and else. And then if there's enough of that pays above our expenses and above the next project that we want to do, then I start looking at, okay, I can take $50 to take the family out to eat and maybe a movie.
Yeah, it's the same with us, you know. And you have good months and bad months as well.
Oh
you know?
Yeah.
It's funny. I think that's to do with public perception. I've not quite put my finger on it, but I think, you know,
I know part of it for like crowdfunding is time of year. Like our first one we did for Legat Volume 1, I made the mistake of like right before Thanksgiving in the US until like mid-December. Well, Christmas and Thanksgiving, people are spending money to go be with their family, gifts for the family. Now, my thinking was, okay, get it out. They can get it as a gift for Christmas for people who are gaming. Oh, no. Oh, come like Black Friday until about mid-January, people aren't spending money. Once those sales are over, that's it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The build-up to Christmas can be okay, but especially January is dead.
Yeah.
You know?
I find it starts picking back up slowly about mid-January.
Yeah.
So if I want to put out a product, we have from mid-January until the end of June. Then there's a couple weeks in July that are dead because of 4th of July over here.
And holiday season.
Yeah.
People are going on holiday.
Yeah. And then there's about a month where things are dead, and then it picks back up for a couple months.
Fall's usually pretty good for live streaming, at least. I don't know about the ad side of YouTube, but like between August and December, it's usually pretty good. You know.
Yeah.
I'm looking at maybe Touchwood being able to pay off a second credit card this season, which is
nice.
You know, because I've got a lot of debts. Like I said, I used to be an engineer, but I quit that, and my very affordable finances became very unaffordable very quickly.
Oh yeah, I do freelance game design. I'm consulting and freelance writing couple projects a year. I used to do it full time, and then I decided for 18 months I wasn't doing nothing but power up gamers because I wanted to make a go of it. And after that 18 months, I was like, well, I like what I'm doing. It's not providing me a living yet. The potential's there. So I have to take on a couple freelance projects a year just to live on. At this point, in the future, I am expecting at some point that Power Up gamers will pay a living salary, and I'll work it full time. And hopefully my core team will all get the same thing. That's kind of our goals, about 6 people as a core team. And all of them making at least $1,000 a month salary.
Yeah, that seems perfectly. I mean, it's not much to ask for. You know, it's that's a livable salary.
You know? Exactly. It's not high class living. It's barely making it, but it's enough that you could live on it. And that's kind of what we're wanting to do as far as the team getting paid. Of course, we want to be able to pay for artists and layout design and all that without having to crowdfund each project. But we're not quite there yet.
Yeah, that's the big thing for me as well. At the moment, we're turning over enough at the academy to pay my art budget, and to just about pay the bills. You know.
Nice.
And that one's the questionable one. You know, that one's the one that comes in and out. That's the one where the good months and the bad months are.
Yeah.
We've turned a profit every month since we've been full time, and most. At least 50% of the time, our profits are enough to cover the bills. You know,
nice. Yeah, I totally understand that. Like each of our products has made a profit above what it costs to make them. It hasn't made enough of a profit to pay salaries or the rest of the bills, but we make do.
Yeah. As long as you're just about meeting your overheads, that's the main thing, right?
Exactly. And then there's times like this last time we were able to update my computer, like I was telling you before we started, which was a huge blessing. And I'm able to get so much more done quickly and efficiently that it's had a big impact on the workload. And it also means I don't have to put in 90 hours a week to do a 40-hour job.
Yeah. It's,
And a lot of people don't realize this is a full-time job.
yeah.
I, I, I know I didn't realize it. I thought, okay, I can write 17,000 words in one night.
mhm.
So write things out, slap some art in, and you're dead.
Yeah.
Oh no, not even close.
No. Yeah, it was a similar thing for me, really. I used to do this. I used to do streaming part time. Even when I was doing tabletop, I was still working as an engineer full time, right? So I was doing 40
And
hours a week.
yeah, and a lot of people do.
Oh
Still,
yeah, a lot of people do. Probably still do. Yeah. So I was doing 40 hours a week as an engineer, 10 hours of commuting a week. It was a long commute. It was about an hour and a half to and from. And then I'd be doing on top of that 40 to 50 hours of streaming as well,
yeah,
like a day. A week. Sorry.
yeah.
It's a full time job.
Yeah.
You know?
I know several of my streaming friends, they'll do the day job. They come home and instead of like a movie with the family, they'll do 2 hours of streaming.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll have dinner. They'll watch maybe a half-hour show or tuck the kids in. And then they come back, begin editing, and
Yeah.
that's the day.
And that's the thing I'm still learning to balance.
Did you
Really.
take that garbage can down?
Hold on just a second, Scratticus.
Yep.
Did you take the garbage can down on the couch?
No.
One of the dogs actually was able to get it down.
Okay, I'll be in a little bit to clean it up. One of the dogs knocked over a garbage can that was sitting on our couch.
Okay.
Ouch. Probably had a TV dinner tray in it.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
they like to do that. I've had to pick up mine several times from the
Yeah.
dog sneaking in. But that was my stepdad just wondering if I took it down off the couch because there's a mess out there. So
Yeah.
if he don't clean it up, maybe then I gotta go clean it up.
Wow. That's sailor figure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, people just don't realize how much goes into even in a stream.
Mhm.
You have to know what you're gonna talk about, arrange
Mhm.
for guests like you to come on, and scheduling is a hard enough
Oh
thing.
yeah. Scheduling is a nightmare always, and the
Hey.
balance as well. That's the thing
Yeah.
that I've struggled with, balancing working with home life and
Yeah.
it's tough.
Yeah,
You need to do stuff to restore energy as well.
Yeah, it's really hard. And people don't know how I do it because I'll do like 24 hours of streaming, but I run like 6 4-hour one shots in a day. And featurity streams, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm always looking on stuff to be put out in the future. And they're like, well, what about your family? What about going out, having a social life? I'm like, my social life's streaming and talking to the audience, hanging out
Mhm.
with cool people and family.
Yeah.
Occasionally, I get to watch a movie or go out to eat with them. Friday is supposed to be my day off. Supposed to be the key word.
I mean, yeah, I relate to that.
And when I do get time off on Fridays, it's usually half a day, and I'm usually sleep that half a day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a lot of work. And then doing high quality streaming, you have to do editing and And editing is not easy by any means.
Oh yeah, I
It's-
know some editors,
And
writing editors and streaming editors in there. They got their
Yeah.
work cut out, you know.
yeah, and it takes almost as much, if not more, time to edit and get things ready to produce a video if you're not streaming live.
Hmm.
Then it does actually sitting down and doing the stream, which is one of the reasons I prefer live stuff like this, where if I edit, it's add a little channel logo video that's like 19 seconds long to the beginning, and you're done.
That's the nice thing about my end of things is I don't have to do a lot of editing. I only do live performances, so once it's done, it's done. You know, I just upload it to
Yeah.
YouTube. All of my struggle comes from scheduling because
Yeah.
I'm usually working with like 40 to 50 people a week.
Wow.
You know, next season I've got 5 viewer games, which is 10 new players every week. And I mean brand new. Some of them won't have played the game before. Others have played and just want to come and have a game online. But sometimes there can be people who've never played. So sometimes that includes teaching them, you know, how to create a character.
Yeah.
You know, it's good fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I know my friend Rich hasn't really played tabletop games, so once we start teaching him those, we'll have to run through them, how to make a character and all that. And RPG with DBJs. Hiya, DBJ.
Hey, nice to see you.
A good friend of mine, he's been on my channel. I've been on his. He does a daily stream aiming things, so he knows a lot of what we're talking about. And it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And
I had to reduce it down a little. I was burning out.
Yeah.
I was doing 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, and then sometimes doing 24-hour streams at the weekend as well.
When I got started on YouTube, I was doing YouTube video every day, running 5 campaigns a week and 2 one-shots. So every night I hosted a game. I did the video during the day, and then I would do the 24-hour streaming deals like at least once a month. And within 6 months, my health dropped tremendously to the point where if I had have kept going, it would have killed me.
Yeah.
So
I managed to give myself pneumonia. I was out for 3 weeks with pneumonia at one point.
Yeah.
Can't do it. It's just too much.
Yeah, so I cut way back. Now I don't hardly DM at all, unless we're play testing something. I have a weekly Firefly game I'm a player in, and then we do a couple fiasco things here and there. And much easier schedule, or much easier to cope with. But it can be a lot, especially when you get started, because you want to get content out for people to enjoy, get them to know you.
Yeah. ABC, always be casting. Yeah, that's the only way to grow, you know. Unfortunately.
Exactly. And then dealing with social media on top of it, and oh hush, hush, Chica. Give me just a second. I need to let the dog out of my room.
Yeah, no worries. While Jaren's gone, we can, you know, I cut down from 5 days a week down to 4 days a week. Still streaming 12 hours a day, but I took Fridays as an admin day because I was finding that doing it 5 days a week, I was doing admin at the weekend, and then if I was streaming at the weekend as well, I just didn't have any time left. So yeah, that's where I was at. Welcome back.
Thank you. It was my uncle coming in the door that the dogs were barking at.
Oh yeah, I mean it was just Halloween last night, so we had dogs barking through all our streams as well.
Oh yeah.
So every time the doorbell went, off they all went.
Yeah, it gets hectic, and our dogs think they own the entire street. So even if it's across the street, people getting in the cars or whatever, they'll bark.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, it's a lot of work. It's rewarding work.
Oh yeah.
Getting to know people, hang out, play fun games together is awesome. And then when you get into producing stuff, there's nothing like the feeling of seeing something you created out there that people are enjoying. Whether it's a stream, a supplement like Power Up Gamers does, as whether it's a recorded video.
I mean, we just had our finale week, and there's nothing more rewarding and simultaneously emotionally draining than a finale week. Like the story's coming to an end. Yeah, it's a beautiful but stressful thing.
Oh yeah, and then you have to recover and get up for the next one.
Yeah, well, we're actually taking a 2-week break after today.
Yeah.
We've got our charity stream in that time, so we've got 1 week charity stream, then another week, and then we'll be going into our next season halfway through November.
Okay.
That's our that's our plan at the moment.
Yeah, after we do a major release, I plan on 2 weeks off. I usually take 3 or 4 days, and then I start working on behind the scenes stuff.
Oh yeah, all of that time for me is going to be organizing the charity stream and then organizing the next season.
Yeah.
There won't be at rest.
Yeah, and we have a lot of projects. A project I've been working on is an actual supplement about disabilities. Is kind of like we've been talking in different ways of dealing with 5 or 6 common special needs in the gaming field. A little bit of information about what like autism is, autism being one of it's what some of the symptoms are, kind of the behavior someone with autism uses is for example, for me, I'm very methodical in how I do things. If you change the order of a step up or take something out, it's like I have to relearn how to do that task.
Okay, yeah.
So for me, for like even doing dishes, I wash plates first, then bowls, then silverware, then cups, then the pots and pans. And I usually do it by hand. If I try to do bowls first or cups, it just doesn't work well.
Yeah.
So there's stuff of like that, little tips, and then don't be afraid to ask what someone needs. Make sure your area is comfortable, easily able to be gotten to for if someone's in a wheelchair, has other mobility issues like we've talked about.
Yeah. Offer help, but don't insist on helping. That's the other one.
Exactly. And And we also have a section with 42 myths about special needs. Like one of them that is so commonly believed is everyone who has a special needs courageous and strong for going through what they go through.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't believe how many people believe that. And while that's true in some cases, we're humans. We get scared, we get annoyed, angry, frustrated. It's just a lot of times we don't show it because we kind of trained ourselves not to.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, just putting on that performance, you know.
Exactly. So we taken 42 myths like that. We wrote out what the truth of the situation is. Is we have the little diagnosis, and that's all the first part of the book. The second part of the book is going to be talking about different systems and how they incorporate disabilities in the system.
Oh, okay.
So far, haven't seen much done on it. I know Fate has the accessibility toolkit now, which is great. 5e has the flaws, which kind of fit, but not really. So we'll kind of mention that. And then the third part's going to be like, if you want a character who has autism in your world or your setting, how you do that without being offensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because people do want to explore that stuff as well.
Yeah.
You know, people want to understand. Like you were saying earlier about understanding how the characters interact. It's exactly the same for people wanting to understand more about disabilities. You know.
Exactly, and it's something that I haven't seen be put out there, and because like I have autism, I have arthritis, so some mobility issues. Those I've dated ladies who are deaf. I've been good friends with blind people, so I've learned a little bit.
Yeah.
So, eventually we'll get that put out. Hopefully this next year, and it will be useful for people to have and use.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what Power Up Gamers is really about. Is it's not the money. Yeah, money and funding would be nice. Paying our people a salary would be nice. Being able to donate to charity would be nice. And we've already given almost $5,000 and almost 1,000 man-hours to charity work since Power Up Gamers started back in 2015.
Yeah.
But being able to make those large contributions would be awesome. But it's really more about the awareness and just helping people realize the need that's out there.
Yeah. So awareness, always awareness. Awareness and communication. They're like the two most important things, you know?
Exactly. And it's not just special needs. There's point of color or people of color that need the same kind of work with inclusiveness. There's sexual orientation and people that need the same level of awareness and consideration as the rest of us. And really what it boils down to is each person's human. Treat them as a human.
Totally. That's exactly it. Just treat everyone else how you'd like to be treated yourself. You know, that's...
And in my case, please treat them better than I want to be treated.
Yeah.
And that's what I strive to do, because for me, I could give two rat's tails about how most people treat me.
Yeah.
Because most of them, if they don't like me, don't have anything to do with me. But I try to treat everyone like the worthy of my time, my respect, and my effort of doing whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that's really what Power Up Gamers is about. And like the Scratticus Academy offering that safe spot where people can talk about these things and not worry about, oh, what's the group gonna think if I need to play laying down.
Yeah.
For example, with my arthritis, I often DM or am in the chat laying on my bed.
Yeah.
Usually I won't turn on the webcam because people don't need to see me laying down.
Yeah. I think we had one.
But they wouldn't care if I did.
No, exactly. We had one DM, not last season, but the season before, who just had surgery, but they still wanted to stream. And they came in and they were also bedridden, you know, but they did bring on the camera and it was just normal, you know, it was.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think anything is really abnormal. A lot of people put a lot of stock in things that are weird or not okay, but like, as long as you're not hurting anyone, most things are fine and normal, and there's just no issue. You know, it's
exactly, and it's weird that people make an issue out of it. To
right?
me,
It's just
it
feels more.
Yeah, like I've had people say, "Well, you gotta be sitting up in an office chair with professional lighting and this high class system." And if I wanted to be a professional streamer with a studio, I would go that way. And maybe one day,
So that's more of a goal though than a start out. You know, people you can't just start with all of that. People don't. So I think a lot of people who aren't into streaming and things like that don't really appreciate the grind. You know, you have to do your due diligence. You have to grind. You have to build up your following. You have to create content that's worthwhile. And you know, sometimes it turns out that like if you've been doing it for a long time and you're not building up that following and you're not building the things, then maybe you need to make changes to your content a little bit. You know, to make it more engaging.
Exactly.
But it's a process. You can't just jump straight into the professional level. You know. It's
a never-ending process. Even when you get to that professional level, or for example, Critical Role.
Yeah.
Or they're constantly trying to improve what they're doing and going out to conventions and interacting with their followers, and that's gonna be a never-ending thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to.
Unless you decide to just quit it all and drop out of sight.
Well, yeah, that's the alternate option. If you're not willing to improve, that's possibly a better option, because sometimes you do just see things that just sort of like peter out, you know, over time, and it's a shame to watch them things die. But you have to keep on overcoming and improving, and you know, it's not enough to just slap a sticker on it and say, "Hey, we're the Scratticus Academy. We're inclusive and safe." Done. You know, like you've got to. You've got to work at it. You've got to make that real.
Oh yeah,
you know,
and you have to constantly learn about people's needs and how you can make your area safe, and that in itself is a huge task.
Yeah,
because like you can't just learn a autism spectrum disorder, which is I'm a highly functioning autistic. Uh,
Mhm.
uh, but even within that, you have Asperger's syndrome, cerebral palsies, and multiple sclerosis is partially in the.
Yeah.
And even if you have the same diagnosis, it can manifest in many ways
Mhm.
as between people. So you constantly have to learn how this is manifesting in the people that's coming to you, or how to deal with it, and
And like
and
for
move
me,
on.
I almost don't, so like I'm trying to think of how you categorize that. I consider it an investment, you know,
Exactly.
learning learning about a person. You can invest in them just the same way you'd invest in anyone else.
Exactly.
You learn about other people's home lives. You learn about what makes them tick, what makes them angry, what
Yeah.
makes them happy. It's just exactly the same thing. There's a lot more taboo surrounding it.
Exactly. And that's one of the big things I like doing these kind of streams and chats. It's because like I'm learning a lot about you, you're learning about me, we're learning about what our different groups do.
Mhm.
Oh, oh, oh. But for me, eh, and I've done this most of my life, in order to talk with someone, you have to know what they believe and how they
Yeah.
think. And and the only way to learn that is to talk with them.
Hmm. Exactly. Right. You can't just make assumptions. That's rude.
Yeah. I can't sit down and say if you were Muslim, for example. And I happen to know a little bit about Islam and Muslim beliefs, but I can't just sit down and say, hey, okay, you follow this Iman without asking you because I wouldn't know.
Hmm.
Oh, oh, I wouldn't know if you were part of the suicide bombers, quote unquote,
Yeah.
ISIS, or one of the Muslims who believe it's wrong. Um,
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, really, those give a bad rap for the whole group.
they
It's
do. And,
and
and,
especially
and,
the way what
and
media will often do as well is it will clue in on those people.
yeah,
Even and what they'll do is they'll clue in on them and make a big thing about it when it's them. But then often you'll see people who are like just everyday people.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. And there's things in there like this. Some of the suicide bombers, for example, they end up killing other Muslims. But, and that's totally against what they claim to be believing. But you wouldn't know that if you didn't look at the Quran, talk to normal Muslims, for example. So it's always that kind of learning and talking with people, and then I can sit and talk to a Muslim, on like we're talking. Uh,
I mean, my best man was an Islamic guy, and the bad press they get. I mean, the poor guy couldn't go through an airport without being stopped and
yeah.
searched every time. Like it'd always be a random search, like
Oh yeah.
sure. It really does give a bad press, and I don't necessarily blame the people who. That's a questionable statement. I'm not going to make it, but like the way press handles things,
Yeah.
I think, is especially bad because quite often they'll turn things into some kind of witch
Yeah.
hunt, which is just completely unnecessary.
Yeah. And and it's always been kind of that way with media. They've always focused on the negative side of things.
Hmm.
And it's really given a lot of people all bad names that shouldn't have bad names, who are good people.
Hmm.
Oh, oh.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what we do although we do tend to focus it more within the tabletop gaming arena and gaming in general.
Mhm.
Oh, and that's quite honestly on my end, and I'm sure yours as well, comes from the belief that everyone is entitled or to having access to the hobby.
Exactly. There is no reason that anyone should be not allowed to play the hobby. I mean, I say that obviously there are some reasons. Some people,
Yeah.
aren't don't understand the dynamics and things like that,
Yeah.
and come in to make problems. People who
Yeah.
come in with the intention of making problems.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, I do believe that not every group is fit for certain people.
Oh, there's
Oh.
tables and tables. Everyone has their table. You know, it's
Exactly. But I believe within the hobby as a whole, there's a spot for everyone, even the troublemakers.
somewhere. Yes, even the troublemakers. There's a murder hobo group out there for them somewhere.
Exactly. So, I know we are going on almost an hour and a half now.
Yeah. Well.
Sure doesn't seem like it, and I know you have to be going soon. So,
I do. Unfortunately.
it has been fun. I really hope we get chance to do this again sometime, whether it's my channel, yours, playing some games together would be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm always looking to play and not DM or play test.
Yeah, the amount of times I hear that a day. Yeah, I mean, we can certainly get you a game somewhere, definitely.
It's been in a good time. I've really enjoyed it. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
And I hope the viewers have gotten to know you a little bit and check your stuff out. So
Yeah,
it's
I say, we have a charity stream coming up on the 9th of November, an Extra Life charity. It'll be streamed on our channel and hosted on the D&D channel. There's a lot of big names. I haven't released any of the names yet, but there's almost certainly going to be at least one person you recognize, I hope. Yeah, it's going to be great. We are on a break at the moment, but we're going to be doing a rerun later on of one of our finales featuring Satine Phoenix. We're going to be
nice.
Yeah, she was on the finale of Doors of Daenerys on Monday, which will be rerunning at 6 ET. We may be doing some other streams as well later on. I'm planning on maybe doing a stream later on, maybe doing a bit of a subathon, just because streams, you know.
Yeah, just because it's what you do.
That's the thing. I still really enjoy streaming. It's a job, but it's also fun, you know. So.
Exactly. So, how about you tell everyone where they can find you? I know you're on Twitter, Twitch. I'm sure some other places as well.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter's the best place. If you go to Twitter, I'm on Scratticus _. You can see my name on screen there. Just chuck an underscore on the end, and you've got my Twitter handle. Unfortunately, the Scratticus handle has been held since 2009 by someone called Bradley Wolf, who hasn't ever made a tweet since. I'm not bitter about that, though. You can find us on twitch.tv/Scratticus. Come and check it out. We'll be doing some streams later on. There'll be a rerun later on, but we hang out in chat. It's not like one of those reruns where we just let it play and we're not there. We're there watching with you. So come and hang out with us. And you can also find me on YouTube at Scratticus Academy. You can find us on Discord. You can see my Discord information on my Twitter. Yeah, come and check us out.
Awesome. So for those of you who are tuning in who don't know where to find Power Up Gamers, you can find us Facebook. We have a community group called Power Up Gamers for Players for Accessibility, which is also the name of our YouTube channel. You can find us on Twitter under PGamerTeam, which it's a team account. You can find us upcoming tonight on Red Raiders Twitch channel. Oh, I'm sure in the future on Scratticus channel.
You have to do.
Also, whereabout you can find some of our products on like the RPG and the Power Up Gamers Role Players for accessibility. There's some cool fiasco playsets and some 5e monster manuals with more to come in the future. So it has been a pleasure, and like always, may your dice roll high.